So this video is probably going to be very different from the usual ones that I make. Um, I'm kind of just saying my thoughts about a topic, um, and just I guess I'm kind of I'm I watched a few of Gerbert's Void videos, and I thought that I quite liked the style, so I decided I'd fucking nick it. But today, what I'm going to be discussing is like, get this fucking bag off the bed. I'm going to be discussing fat phobia and the general kind of like thing about that, because I kind of feel like it's a discussion that we have online, and I think it's probably one of the more stupid ones that we have. It just doesn't make a load of sense to me, if that makes sense. It's a lot of people arguing about the same thing. I should say though, as a warning now, there are going to be scientific facts in this video, which, if no matter what your political affiliation, there is a chance that you will probably not like. So, I guess we start with the obvious question: does fat phobia exist? I think that if you think that fat phobia doesn't exist, you're a bit of a fool. And the reason is because I see fat phobia like how I think fat phobia is kind of like racism. It's Am I saying it's as big a problem? No. Am I saying that it's as bad? Absolutely not. It isn't. But does it exist on some level? Well, yes, it does, right? Even if you don't think that it's a prevalent thing, even if you don't think it's a real issue, you have to accept that it does to some degree exist. Because, there are people who call each other like fatties. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a major systemic problem. Shit. I fucked that up. I'm a pro swordsman. Well, hey, demo night. But yeah, anyway, so I kind of just feel like, yeah, with fat phobia, it's an everyone can agree that it does to some degree exist. We can disagree about like whether or not it's a problem. We can disagree about whether or not it's okay to like, I guess, make judgments about people based on their personal choices. We can argue about whether or not it is or isn't personal choice at all. Some people would argue that there's absolutely no personal choice in whether or not you're fat. It's completely down to where you're born and how you're born. And other people would argue that it is completely your choice. My personal view is that it's 50-50. I think that you a lot of people have this idea, yeah, that whether or not you're fat is completely your choice, and I think that's silly, and I think that that just misrepresents an entire problem, because there is definitely a like, you think about America, right? You've got the perfect storm for an obesity epidemic. You've got horrendous city. What do you get when you combine horrendous city planning? Oh shit, my camera's going out of focus. I don't know if I'll keep that in. It's kind of funny, so I might do. Fucking hell. Hang on a minute. Fucking stupid thing. Yeah. Right. I don't really know if it's focused or not, but fuck it. Ugh. The dressing gown's going back on because it's comfy as shit. Basically, yeah, like, you look at America. What do you have? The perfect storm for an obesity epidemic. You've got horrendous city planning, yeah? So, where I live, right, for example, in the UK, you can take, in my city, you can take a bus pretty much anywhere, because the city's all kind of like integrated. Everything is inside everything else. You have a shop and a house next to each other. Not next to each other, there is like more kind of neighborhoody areas, but like, there is quite a few shops for me, and you go 2 roads and you have basically like town area. Yeah, you have like, if you think about, like, I guess for an American it would be like if the neighborhood and the downtown were kind of mixed. That's what we have over here, and that's what's very common in Europe, right? You have like whereas in America, when everyone was designing everything, they had this like travel. They had like long distance travel. They had trains. They had all this stuff. So what they could do is they could just say, let's put all the houses here, and all of the shops here. Whereas in Europe, especially in Europe, and then this is also sort of the case in Asia, but it's a lot more complicated to discuss this in Asia, and I'm not qualified on this at all. But whereas, yeah, in Europe, it's more like organic growth. It was like, okay, yeah, it was just people moving, and then that caused it, and then that created a really good system that allowed. So I can walk, and I can actually get somewhere. I can cycle, and I can actually get somewhere. You can have an effective bus route. Whereas in the US, you just have everyone living at the same place, and then you have suburbs and you have downtown, and that's how it is. And then you drive from the suburbs to the downtown. Generally speaking, obviously in places like New York, it's not that simple. Everyone lives in high rises, and this is a very complicated matter that again I am absolutely no qualifications on whatsoever. But that, and then when you combine that with the fact that due to cultural reasons in America, the cheapest food isn't vegetables. It isn't. You fine. The price of a tomato is less than the price of a Big Mac. Okay, but generally speaking, if you want to eat as efficiently as possible, you are not going to be eating healthy. Especially when you take time into a factor. And then that is another thing. If you are poor and you are working 4 jobs, when the fuck are you going to go to the gym? You aren't. It's that simple, right? And that's the other thing. So there are definitely loads and loads and loads of factors which mean people just don't have time to exercise. People can't integrate exercise into their daily routine, right? And then as well, the only food that they can afford is fucking shit that's killing them. There's also a genetic component. That is just a fact. There is a genetic predisposition to being fat. That's simple, right? And some people have it, and I feel sorry for those fucking people. Because can you fucking imagine? No matter what you do, you're fat. Me, I'm an alpha male, you know? Whoa! Alpha. But these fucking people, they could fucking... I'm quite lucky genetically, right? I'm not going to fucking take my top off and show you my incredible set of abs, which definitely do exist, right? But, like, I'm not a fatty. I've only got, like, my body fat percentage is, like, probably... Last time I checked, it was, like, 20%, but that was quite a long time ago, and admittedly... But I barely do any cardio. Like, fucking nothing. And I only have 20%. And I eat like a fucking pig. And I have 20%. Which is fucking good. Yeah? I mean, you only, like, ideal... fucking ideal. Don't listen to what any fucking bodybuilder says. The ideal body fat percentage is 10 to 15. And I'm 20 doing nothing. I'm fucking living the dream. Yeah? I'm not overweight, but I don't know what this video is. But anyway, like... But then there are people who would live like me, and then they'd weigh 400 kilos. And I think that being British definitely gives me a lot of perspective. Because when I convert a lot of the, like, measurements into ours, it kind of shocks me. Because in America, it's normal to be over 200 pounds. For context, that's
100
kilos. If you're 90
100
kilos in the UK, you are a fatty, right? Not to be, like, rude, but that is insane.
100
kilos. That's ridiculous. If you're, like, 6 foot and you're, like, fucking jacked, then maybe that's fine. But for, like, the average person, for a normal person to be that much, that's insane. That's insane. I'm the equivalent of 160 pounds. I'm 80 kilos. And that's a fucking lot. I'm one of the heaviest people I know. Yeah? Most of that is obviously muscle. You know? Massive man. Go to the gym 3 times a week. But, you know... Yeah, most of that's muscle. And yeah, I'm the heaviest person I know. And I'm 160 pounds. Sorry, I'm not. I do know a couple, like, overweight people. A couple. I only know, like... one person who's actually obese. But then you compare that to, like, the things I hear about America, and it's just crazy to me. And I think that American culture definitely plays a part in it. And I feel like British and American culture, they're very similar, but they're also very different. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that we don't live too differently to you. Yet, fine, up north there are some fatties. I'll concede. Up north in the UK is kind of like down south in the US, but kind of not really, right? In the sense that it's a shithole. But basically, yeah, we don't live too differently from Americans. Yet, what's fat is very, very different. What we consider fat. I'm not considered fat, but I'm a long fucking way from skinny. Even though I can only pinch like that much fat. Yeah. Anyway, I have had my ADHD medication, so I am pro gaming. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, we don't live too differently from you. Yet, we have quite a lot of fat people. We have quite a lot less fat people. And it's like, well, why is that? Because I refuse to believe that it's it's just, if you're fat, it's just completely your fault. That's it. I think that that's such a silly way to look at the world. I think that once you start doing that, you see the world in just such a silly way. And I think, does fat phobia exist? Of course it does. Is it okay to fucking... And then, well, I think that, yeah, the following question after does fat phobia exist is it okay to judge someone based on their choices? Because whether or not being fat is a choice, obviously it's not just a choice. It's not like, do I want to be fat or do I want to be thin? I'm going to choose to be fat, because no one in their fucking right mind would choose to be fat, yeah? And it's kind of like an interesting take I have on I guess, nonces. Slightly different, but it's like, well, no paedophile would ever choose to be a paedophile. So I kind of feel sorry for them. Again, if they actually go out and touch kids, fucking off limits, cut off their heads, and fucking throw them in the river. I don't give a fuck. If you ruin a kid's life, you lose yours. Simple. But if you're a nonce and you don't do anything, fucking my respect, brother. Right? You are insane. You're pro skills, and okay. Again, it depends, because there are some people like EDP445 who were just so sick and they are so desperate that they resort to children. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. Right? But if you just like kids, yeah, and you can't help that, and you don't like adults, but you just die. You have my respect. You have my respect. Yeah, and that's why I feel like lolly hentai is it needs to exist, because it's better that these fucking pedos watch that than they watch actual child porn, or even worse, go out and rape a child. So you can say, yeah, fine, lolly hentai is very weird, yeah? It's very, very fucking weird. I'm not gonna act here and say, oh yeah, it's weird to watch it, but it's fucking saving lives. I know I sound like a nonce saying this. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm just being honest. Just being 100% real with you, my diggity dog. But basically, yeah, it's... Have I got onto paedophilia? Fuck. Even with my ADHD medication, I'm on a fucking... Anyway. Back to the topic at hand. Fat phobia. And I think the other thing you can do here is talk about body count, right? Is it okay to judge someone based on their choices? Well, is being fat the same as having a high body count? Well, some people would say it is. Some people would say it's a series of choices, right? One's more tempting, yeah. The other's probably, arguably more good for you. If you want to moralize sex, which I think is a very shady and weird thing to do, but I guess, I mean, you could... I think moralizing sex is kind of fucking stupid, right? Saying, oh... I mean, you could take the utilitarian point of view and actually argue that virgins are far, far, far more dangerous than people who have a high body count, because people who have a high body count are pleasuring many, many people, providing far, far more to society. But if you're a fucking virgin, yeah, sitting there getting annoyed at people who have had loads of sex, then you're maybe the problem, because you're not making anyone happy. I don't know. Just food for thought. Anyway. Being fat. I don't think that it's completely a choice. Do I think that there's an element of choice? Yes. You have to be an idiot to think that there is not an element of choice in fat phobia. Like, you think about how many fucking people are fat in America. Like, what is it? 40% are obese and 60% are overweight. What the fuck is that? That is insane. That is insane, right? Do I now? You have to be kind of an idiot to think that all of them, every single one of them, is like in bad conditions, and then they have a genetic predisposition to be fat. Some of them are just fatties. Some of them are just fatties. Some of them just like to sit down and eat cake. And you know what? In that circumstance, maybe there's a fucking argument. Yeah, you should fucking go to the gym. Although the problem with that is that is a slippery slope, because it gets very, very close to, oh, everyone should be as strong as possible for the collective union, which, my friend, is called fascism. Well, hey. Anyway. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. That's the thing. The argument that like everyone should be healthy by there should be government mandates saying you have to be health this much, that very, very quickly falls into fascism. And I don't want to be one of those people who goes, ooh, that goes fascism. That is an invalid argument, because it's not. That's like saying, oh, well, if you let trans people exist, then soon furries will exist. So we should murder all trans people. It's fucking stupid, right? Because, yeah, fine, that thing might kind of arguably lead to that, but that doesn't mean that that thing is inherently bad. We should stop the problem when the problem comes, not the thing that pre-causes the problem if that thing isn't necessarily bad. Do I think that there should be some kind of, like, in America, there should be some kind of fucking government, like, oh yeah, here's a health program, this is how you eat healthy, we'll provide you with some food to eat healthy, and we'll provide you with, like, a free gym and, like, stuff to help you get healthy. Abso-fucking-lutely. That should completely exist. That is a good idea. But of course in America you love your capitalism so much that you go, no taxes, taxes, right? And it would never happen, right? So of course you continue with your systemic fucking problems, because you love to suck the dick of like fucking billionaires who don't want to be taxed. Because, I mean, let's face it, right? Americans, the American dream is the most weaponized fucking thing ever. It's like, yeah, you can be a billionaire, you can be a millionaire. So, if you campaign for our rights, then when you become a millionaire, you'll have those rights too. Right? Which is just fucking insane. Not everyone can be a billionaire. If someone's a billionaire, someone's in the mud. It's that simple. Communism for all. What the fuck is... Don't take anything I say too seriously, alright? Anyway. With fatphobia and shit, right? It's like... Yeah. But then, the people whose choice it is. Again, does it make sense to fucking go out and go, you're fat, so I'm gonna kill you? That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Now, the next thing that I want to discuss is beauty standards, because I think it kind of hurts every time I see one of these fucking people go, well, you know, in the 1700s, fat women were what everyone wanted, so beauty standards are stupid and not worth following and they shouldn't exist. Well, yeah, no fucking shit. When you are hungry and you want food, what do you think becomes attractive? A woman who has food or a woman who is starving? But when you're hungry, what do you think you want? Do you think you want a woman who doesn't have a predisposition to being fat? Or do you think you want a woman who does have a genetic predisposition to being fat? Bear in mind that being fat makes you physically a lot lower chance of survival. You think about it, who's going to be... A lion's chasing you. Who's got a better chance of survival? The fatty or the not fatty? Well, actually neither, because lions can run faster than... It doesn't matter. You get my point, right? Like, it comes down to evolutionary psychology, which is such... I understand. It's such a fucking horrendous... It's such a dog shit subject. It is so fucking annoying to discuss, because there's all kinds of, like... things about... There's all kinds of problems with evolutionary psychology in that, like, the way that it works, and that sometimes just thinking about things does work, and it's also very easy to make up something that sounds like it's about right when it actually is just incorrect. Shit, I probably shouldn't have done that. That's fucking up the lighting. Where else? That's... If you can hear that, that's my Discord, not yours, by the way. Should probably just warn you. I think, at least. Anyway. Right. Evolutionary psychology. I think, yeah, because it's a lot of the time you can just go, well, woman this, men that, but I'm not sure how well, like, evolution really discriminates between genders. I'm not sure how well genes can like recognize other genes and say, oh well, yeah, if you're a woman then this gene, if you're a man then this gene. They probably can to some extent, but I'm not sure it's as effective as a lot of evolutionary biologists would make it. But again, I have absolutely zero qualifications in this, so it is what it is. But I probably have a better understanding of it than some fucking random internet guru, right? Because at least I do one science, I do physics. I'm also probably smarter than them. I've got my massive IQ. 220 IQ. Super physicist. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, evolutionary psychology. See my memory? Anyway, yeah, it's like... You can kind of say that, and I also feel like this is... Now, this is going to be a slightly suspicious thing to say, because it's kind of eugenics. But hear me out. If you think about it, you have sex with a fat person, you're more likely to have a fat kid. A fat kid is more likely... actually, I kind of just said this. Yeah, a fat kid in a fight is probably not going to do as well. And again, this leads me on to like body positivity and shit. It's like, well, I feel like body positivity is like, oh, no matter what size you are, be happy with your body. It's fucking stupid. It, like, I think... Actually, no, hang on. First, I'm going to discuss health, right? I fucked up there. I will get back to body positivity. I'll probably leave some kind of timestamp so you can, if you're interested in that. Health, the best definition of it I've ever heard. Oh, the handle's starting to get sweaty because my hands, shaky hands. But yeah, it's like the most health. The best definition I've heard is the point in which your body is at its best. So, allow me to explain what I mean by that. Say the average person. If the average person went for a run every morning, then that average person would, on average, would probably, there would be all kinds of benefits. Yeah? There's like, look, you know how there's like loads of benefits to exercise? Like it makes you smarter, it makes you... That's the only one I really care about. Massive brain, as I said. It makes you smarter. It makes you more awake. It makes your skin better. It makes basically it makes every single part of you better. Yeah. But if you do too much exercise, it does the opposite. Yeah. You kind of turn into a bit of a crack addict. You know, at the gym doing the fucking lat pull downs for 40 hours straight. Probably gonna kill you. Probably gonna kill you. Wouldn't recommend it. So, what does that mean? That means that the health is the point at which you gain the most benefits from your exercise. And that is going to be different for different people. So being thin is not inherently healthy. What is healthy is doing activities, and doing those activities, generally speaking, will make you thin. There's no such... A healthy person is just a person who has healthy habits. It's that simple. And generally speaking, it's correlation, not causation. If someone's thin, that means that they're, probably speaking, do good things. If they're fat, they probably speaking don't. Some of the time that's because they can't, some of the time that's because they won't, some of the time that's because, I don't know, I can't think of a third reason. They're lazy. Well, I guess that's won't. Anyway, my fucking goodness, the viewer retention on this is going to be dreadful. But think of this as an homage to my boy Gerby. I don't agree with you on everything, but I think that you're good. I think that I like your thinking. It's clever. Anyway. Yeah, so I think that the idea that a fat woman can be healthy, or I keep thinking about women in this debate. I feel like that's because who it affects more. Let's face it. I feel like fat men, generally speaking, or at least I don't think that they have it as bad. I think fat women probably have it worse, because it's like, I think societal expectations that they're pretty, I guess. I mean, like, for men, whether or not you're fat doesn't make a difference. You're just not going to get sex anyway. So, it is what it is. Although then again, like, not having sex is not the only form of oppression. That's a fucking ridiculous point to make. Anyway, back with what I was saying. You kind of can't really say that. You can't say that somebody is or isn't healthy just by looking at them. Because again, you look at someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was that motherfucker healthy? Fuck no. Fuck no. Ronnie Coleman. Was Ronnie Coleman? Fuck no, he wasn't healthy. Yeah? Was he fucking built like he was a fucking god? Yes. Does that make you healthy? No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. Because let me tell you this now. When you do hundreds of fucking steroids, yeah? That doesn't make you healthy. That makes you look good. And there is a difference. There are fat women who are more healthy than Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, because fine, these or fine fat people, because there might be these fat people who genuinely care about their health in all forms. Yeah, mental, physical, whatever. Yeah, but fucking, you know, not shooting the shit up their arms. Other thing I'll say. So on with that, and that is that I've had some time to, in the background to get my thoughts straight on body positivity. And here's my thing. I think the fact that body positivity exists inherently makes me sad. And that's not because of body positivity, but that's because, with what I was saying about health, the thing that's really unhealthy, the thing that's unhealthy more than anything, is if you spend your life, you go on your phone, you scroll through Instagram, you look at people healthier than you, and every time you see one, your immediate thought is, they've got better this than me, they've got better that than me, they've got better ding, 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 ding. These are all the things they're better than me. They're better than me. They're better than me because they are better than me. And then if you go home, right, and you go to bed, and you scroll just before you sleep, and you see someone who's more, your feed is just full of people who are in perfect condition, yeah, manicure, everything that you could want for a photo, right? Photoshop, they've got the fucking makeup to the max. They've just done a pump, right? So they've just been to the gym, because just after going to the gym, you look a lot fucking more muscly than you do afterwards. And this can go for men and women too. Women will do those fucking squats before to make their fucking bunda look massive, right? And then they do that, and then you look at that, and you look at that fucking masterpiece of a picture that's had more fucking work done on it than the fucking Mona Lisa. You look at that and you think they're better than me because they've got this, that, and that, right? And then if you wake up the next morning and you go into the fucking mirror and you look at yourself, you stand there naked looking at yourself and you look, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, I'm bad, I'm worthless. If you fucking do that, that is not healthy. That is the fucking inverse of healthy, yeah? Right? Before I started exercising, I fucking didn't give a shit what I look like. Do I give a shit now? Not massively. Not massively. I exercise now, and I do use what I look like as a kind of gauge to see my progress, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't really care what I look like. Yeah? I hate to like what I look like. What I look like can give me some kind of gauge for whether or not what I'm doing is working to make me stronger. Because I do this. I don't do this to look good. I do this to be physically... Wah! You know? Can you do that? I don't fucking think so. Yeah? Pro skills. Yeah? I do it because the way I see my body, and I think everyone should see it as this. You aren't your body, first of all. You are your brain. It's that simple. That's why my channel name is The Brain, right? Because that's what I fucking am. I am a brain inside a body. Yeah? Because that's what matters about me. My body is just a tool. It's just a very, very good multi-tool. And I see exercising as sharpening that tool, making that tool better. Yeah? And I examine my work. I see how well I've done. And then that tool has all kinds of things, right? It's good for exerting force. It's good for running. I guess they're the same thing. Like, it's good for hundreds of fucking different things. Hundreds of things I could list off of the advantages of having a good body. Yeah? So, what do? I exercise to try and gain those advantages. Yeah? And I can use how I look as a measurement, as a gauge, as a benchmark to see how well I'm doing. Yeah? However, what I don't do is I don't look at myself in the mirror and think my body is bad, therefore I'm bad, because that's not the same. You are not your body, you are your brain. But I think that body positivity says you are your body, right? And that's a good thing, that's a great thing. But to me, that just feels like cope. Just feels like, oh yeah, fine. Yeah. Your body is terrible. You're going to die at 57, but that's fine because everyone's different. No, it's not fine. You're going to die at 37. Do what you can. Do what you can. That's all that matters. That's all there is. Don't bring yourself to the point of fucking anorexia, right? So if you are that person I described earlier, you care so much about how you look. You think how you look matters. Delete Instagram. Delete it now. Yeah? Stop looking at yourself in the mirror. Yeah? Just go straight on and get in the shower in the morning. I assure you, you'll cut down your time massively. You'll improve in every way. You're meant, I feel, to develop good physical health, you have to be in good mental health. I think that is a requirement. And I think that if you fucking... Because if you do that, if you do what I just said earlier, how the hell are you going to sit down and eat something healthy? No, you're depressed, right? You're insecure. You need something that will make you happy. So you eat large amounts of huge food, and then your stomach expands, and your appetite grows, and then it goes worse and worse and worse, and it's a reverse cycle. And the thing to release this cycle is delete Instagram. If Instagram is just full of like I don't have Instagram. Admittedly, I never used it for this, right? I never really used it at all, to be quite honest with you. But delete your source of looking at perfect bodies, right? Some cases that might be a job, so you're kind of fucked if you work in like, I don't know, you work at like the fucking, I was going to say advertising group for like Gymshark or something, but they don't really have one. They just slap their fucking logo on people who've taken a load of steroids. But yeah, my advice is cut down on your fucking social media, because as much as there are people saying it's okay, you go, you can be fat, there's also going to be that is going to hurt you more, right? Because ultimately, what matters is that you live long and that you enjoy your time. Do you think you're going to live longer and enjoy your time more by saying, I don't care that I'm fat, I'm just going to eat. There's no time. I don't have time to... okay, no, that's fair enough if you don't have time to exercise, but life is too short to exercise. It fucking will be if you don't. It will be if you don't. Right? And that's the fucking thing. If you think about it, every minute of exercise adds 2 to your life. Think about it like that. Yeah? Then you'll find the fucking time. And again, if you work 3 jobs, and if you have no time, if you come back every night at 9 p.m. to your 5 children, then you have my deepest sympathies. And you have to sit down and you have to eat your fucking like hyper concentrated carbohydrate. I feel sorry for you. Genuinely. And I think that that's not your fault in that circumstance. If people in a wheelchair who are fat, that's more understandable. That's far more understandable. Yeah? Does it mean that like you can have a minor injury and say, oh well, I guess I can be fat now? No. Come on. And again, this idea of like, is it okay to be fat? Is it not okay? It's just so childish, isn't it? Oh, it's okay. It's not okay, and nor is it not okay. Yeah? It's not a moral fucking question. The question is, I think we should forget what other fucking people think. It doesn't matter whether or not it's okay to be fat. What fucking matters is that you just need to stop caring about that shit. What you need to care about is you. How can you be in the best circumstance you can be in? And for most people, that is by losing weight. For some people, it isn't. For some people, it's by gaining weight. For some people, it's by all manner of things, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, look at me on my high horse. I can tell absolutely anyone how to live their life anytime. because that's fucking stupid. And then that is how you cause serious fucking problems, because the world is not that simple. The world is not just, there is a problem, this is a one-size-fits-all solution. That's not how this fucking shit works. The way that this fucking shit works is that there are problems, and there are things that relate to the problem. And every solution is different. You think every time there's a hostage, the fucking SAS, right? Do you think they always enter in the same way? Do you think they always work in the same way? No, they fucking don't. Because the terrorists, right, they'd see it happen one time, and then they'd fucking note it down, and then they'd know what SAS standard procedure is. So they change it ever so slightly each time. Because every circumstance is different. No two people are the same. Ever. Yeah? So you can't say, well, I'm fucking jacked. Look at me. Whoa. Look at these fucking... Whoa. You probably can't see it from here, but I have got a muscle there. It's not particularly impressive, but... Well, hey. My chest is more impressive. Again, you still can't see that from here, but... Doesn't matter. Basically... Stop fucking saying this will work. Because it might not. You have to think this through for yourself. And ultimately, what am I saying here? What's my point? Right? Like, just at the end of the day, this fucking internet shit, this whole fatphobia and all that, it's a silly thing to argue about. It's turning, I see it as a very important and interesting thing that people are kind of just bastardizing. You should try, in this whole topic, you should try and benefit yourself as much as possible, mentally and physically. That's what you should aim to do. Not because some fucking guy on the internet says to do it. Not because some guy throws up a fucking picture of Z's over that same fucking music 100 times. Not because any fucking guy says, oh yeah, if you don't get healthy, you're a degenerate. Not because of that. Because if you get healthy, you will benefit you, and you will know when you are healthy. You will know when you are healthy because you will feel 100 times better than you did before. And trust me, go for it, try for it. And again, you might not be able to. You might be in a bit of a stinker of a situation. And I'm sorry if that is the case. But what you should try and do is you should try and work your way out. Do your best to improve your health. And don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Yeah? People might say, oh, fucking cope, seethe, didn't ask, all that bullshit, right, that people say when they're too fucking stupid to actually debate you, right? People might say that, but it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters more, right? Some random fucking Andrew Tate one day, or Andrew Tate himself, on the fucking internet, or you being healthy in physical and mental ways. Just try and benefit yourself. Try and do what you can, and don't give a... It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It only matters what happens to you and what you say. Thanks for watching. You've probably not... There's like... Odds are there's like no one who's made it this far. Yeah, it was an interesting video. I enjoyed making it. Probably won't enjoy editing. I'm not going to cut out all of my tangents because I think it adds flavour. Even though it means that no one will watch it. But I guess I enjoy it. I'm going to say leave a comment, not because I just want to bump my engagement up like most people, but because I actually genuinely want to know what you think. Don't just believe something that somebody else says. Like, my advice would be, listen to what I'm going to say. Listen to what I've said, yeah? Think about it for yourself, yeah? And then decide what you think, because I might be fucking wrong, yeah? And then I will happily answer any questions you have about my way of thinking in the fucking comments, right? So that's it for the video. Subscribe, like, and artificially inflate my channel. And goodbye.